Hello students, this is the second lecture on the magnetic properties of materials. If you have not watched the previous video, that is the first lecture on the magnetic classification of substances, then through the I button given at the top you can go at the first video and first you watch that video and then continue with this second video. Now in this second video I am going to tell you some terms related to the magnetic classification of materials. So as you already know that there are, from the point of view of magnetism, we can classify all the substances under three headings: diamagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance and ferromagnetic substance. Diamagnetic substance, for example bismuth, for example copper, which when placed in the external magnetic field magnetizes opposite to the external magnetic field, opposite to the magnetic field, means they magnetize opposite to magnetizing field, but the magnetism required by them will be feeble. Similarly, paramagnetic materials, for example aluminum, for example air is also considered the paramagnetic. When in the magnetic field, what will happen? It will feebly magnetize in the direction of the magnetic field, while in case of the ferromagnetic material, for example iron, nickel and cobalt or magnetite Fe3O4, it magnetizes strongly in the direction of the external magnetic field, in the direction of the magnetizing field. So up to here, up to this point I have already told. I have already explained what is relative permeability and magnetic susceptibility. Today I am going to take some more terms related to the magnetic classification of substances. So here it is the first term, magnetizing field or magnetic field intensity. What is the magnetizing field? It is that field which magnetizes to any material, which induces magnetism in any material. That field which induces magnetism in any material, that is called the magnetizing field or magnetic field intensity, and it is denoted by the symbol H. We denote it by the symbol H. Now see here, as you know that if you take a closely wounded long solenoid, on passing the electric current in that closely wounded long solenoid, a uniform magnetic field is produced along the axis of the solenoid. Along the axis of the solenoid, a uniform magnetic field is produced. This is the axis. There will be a uniform magnetic field when current will pass through the coil which is wounded across it. That will be in this direction. You can, means it will be this. It's clear. Here it will be this. You can take this direction. What is the magnetic induction? What is the magnetic flux density? This we call as magnetic induction or magnetic flux density. Here we have represented it by B0 because this is an air-filled solenoid. There is no material inside it. So magnetic induction in the air-filled solenoid, it is B0 equals to mu naught into N into I. What is mu naught? It is the magnetic permeability. It is the magnetic permeability of air, absolute permeability of air. N is the number of turns per unit length, and I is the strength of current which flows through the coil wounded over it. So see here, you can see here its magnetic induction, it depends upon what factor? It depends upon the product Ni. Depends upon the product Ni. The value of B0 depends upon N into I. If you increase the number of turns per unit length, or if you increase the current, or if you increase both, what will happen? magnetic induction inside the solenoid will be increased. When the magnetic induction will be increased, what will happen? The magnetic flux lines will become more in number. Magnetic flux lines will become more in number. Their number will be increased. It's clear? Magnetic induction inside the solenoid will be increased means magnetic flux lines within the solenoid will be increased in number. It's clear? Means we can say what is Ni? Ni is the capability of current to produce magnetic flux. What is Ni? It is the capability of current to produce magnetic flux because it decides the magnetic induction inside the solenoid. If you increase this product, magnetic induction inside the solenoid will be increased, and when magnetic induction will be increased, that is magnetic flux density will be increased, then what will happen? Number of flux lines will also increase. It's clear? So this we term as the magnetic field intensity. This we term as a magnetizing field. It's clear? Magnetic field intensity or magnetizing field or magnetizing field. Magnetizing field, which we represent by the H. It's clear? It is represented by H. Now you can see here H equals to N into I. Now what will be its unit? So as already I have told, N is the number of turns per unit length, that is per meter, and this is ampere. So what will be the unit of H? You can see this is per meter, that is this is per meter into ampere, means you can say that it is ampere per meter. Ampere per meter. And when in place of Ni you will write H, it will become B naught equals to mu naught into H. It's clear? So this is the magnetizing field or magnetic field intensity. Now see here, there is a term relative permeability. About this already I have told. What is relative permeability? Relative permeability is equal to mu r equals to B upon B naught. Means relative permeability of a magnetic material. In the previous lecture I have told relative permeability. Now mu r equals to B upon B naught. Mu r equals to what is B? It is the magnetic induction in the magnetic material to divided by magnetic induction in the free space in the air. It's clear? Means what is the relative permeability of a magnetic material? It is the ratio of the magnetic induction within the magnetic material to the magnetic induction in the free space or in air. So see here, as you already know that when we keep any magnetic substance inside the magnetic material, you see here, suppose this is a air filled solenoid. What is the magnetic induction inside this? That is B naught. It is given by B naught. When there is air, magnetic induction in the air, it is this. Now it is filled by some material. I have filled it by some material. You can see here. It has been filled by some material. When you will fill it by some material, what will happen? In material, what will happen? When some material is filled, that material may be diamagnetic or paramagnetic or ferromagnetic, is filled inside solenoid. Let magnetic induction becomes B. Magnetic induction. Magnetic induction means magnetic field. Magnetic induction means magnetic flux density. Magnetic induction becomes B. So as already I have told, that in diamagnetic material, this B is slightly less than B naught. B is slightly less than B naught. Why? Because diamagnetic material magnetizes opposite to the magnetizing field. Opposite to the magnetizing field means, suppose the magnetizing field direction is this. So what will happen? They will magnetize in this direction. It's clear. But they will acquire only a feeble magnetism. Paramagnetic substance also acquires a feeble magnetism. So B will be slightly less than B naught. It's clear. B will be slightly less than B naught. You can see here, for paramagnetic, it will be, B will be slightly more than B naught. But for ferromagnetic, B is much more than B naught. It is much more than B naught. It's clear. So if you find out B upon B naught, so you will find that for diamagnetic it will be less than 1. For paramagnetic, B upon B naught will be greater than 1. And for ferromagnetic, it will be, you can see here, it B upon B naught will be very much greater than 1. It's clear. This already I have told that B upon B naught is what? Mu r, means relative permeability. Relative permeability for diamagnetic material is less than 1. Diamagnetic material already I have told, suppose for example bismuth, for example copper, their relative permeability is very small. If you see here in case of the bismuth, it is what? It is nearly 0.99983. In case of copper, it is 0.9999904. It's clear this. It is this. Now, here it is less than 1 for diamagnetic material. For paramagnetic material, mu r equals to this thing and it is greater than 1. It's clear. For example, if you see for the aluminum, then in case of aluminum, it is what? 1.00004. It's clear. No, this is not of aluminum, this is of air. This is of air. And in case of aluminum, it is 1.0021. It's clear. So these are the values. So values are not important. You only know that for paramagnetic material, it is greater than 1. So since the relative permeability of the paramagnetic material of the diamagnetic material is not very much different from 1. It is almost equal to 1. Therefore, these materials don't have any utility. They will not make any difference on filling, on replacing this space by the material. In place of air, if you fill it by paramagnetic or diamagnetic material, there will be no significant change in the magnetic field inside the solenoid. B and B naught will be approximately same. So that's why these materials don't have any practical utility because their relative permeability is very small. But if you see in the ferromagnetic material, here mu r is highly positive. It is much more greater than 1. And if you see here in iron, nickel and cobalt, so you will find that in iron, what is the value of mu r? It is nearly 5000. It is nearly 5000. What does it mean? Means suppose there is a magnetic field of 1 Gauss in the air. There is a magnetic field of 1 Gauss inside the air. So when you will fill it by iron, what will happen? Magnetic field will become 5000 Gauss. Gauss is the unit of the magnetic field. What is Gauss? It is the unit of magnetic field, CGS unit of magnetic field. So suppose there was 1 Gauss magnetic field inside this solenoid. Then on filling it completely with the iron, what will be the magnetic field? It will become 5000 Gauss. It's clear? It will become 5000 Gauss. Similarly, in cobalt it is 250. It's clear. Its value is 250. Means it will increase the magnetic field 250 times than which was in the air. If in air there was 1 Tesla, so when you will fill it by cobalt, it will become 250 Tesla. It is clear. Similarly, in the nickel, this value is around 600, means it will increase 600 times which was in air. It's clear. So that's why, because of this point, these materials are very important. It's clear. They're, from point of view of magnetism, they have a great utility, while the diamagnetic and paramagnetic substances don't have so much utility. It's clear. One more thing which I want to tell you, all the ferromagnetic properties are similar to the paramagnetic property with greater intensity. It's clear. Ferromagnetic material magnetizes feebly in the direction of the magnetizing field. No, paramagnetic material magnetizes feebly in the direction of magnetic field, in the direction of magnetizing field. What will happen to the ferromagnetic? It magnetizes very strongly. In the direction of external magnetic field. For paramagnetic material, the relative permeability is around 1, near to 1. Here for ferromagnetic material, the relative permeability mu r, it is much more greater than 1. So you can see here I have already given here. Suppose it is found that the flux density inside the solenoid changes from original value B naught to a new value B. When you will fill the solenoid by some magnetic material, magnetic induction increases from B naught to B. The ratio of the new flux density B to the original flux density B naught is known as relative permeability of the material of core. Means, how can you describe the relative permeability of the material of core? It is the ratio of the magnetic induction in the magnetic material to the magnetic induction in the free space, that is air. That means air. Though free space and air both are the different thing, but here I have taken same. From point of view of magnetism, it is same. So mu r equals to B upon B naught. So what will be B? B equals to B naught into mu r into B naught. Now in place of B naught, you can write mu naught H. So B equals to mu r into mu naught into H. What is mu r into mu naught? It is mu. This is called absolute permeability of material of core. What is the difference between absolute permeability and relative permeability? It is the permeability with respect to air. It is a ratio, it is a dimensionless quantity. While absolute permeability, it is not dimensionless quantity, it has unit. It's clear. And here, what is the absolute permeability of the material of core? It is represented by mu, which is equal to mu r into mu naught. Means B equals to mu into H. It's clear. So from here you can deduce the formula of mu. Mu equals to B upon H. So how will you describe the absolute permeability of a magnetic material? You have seen here that absolute permeability mu equals to B upon H. What is B? It is the magnetic induction inside the solenoid when there is magnetic material. And what is H? It is the magnetizing field of this solenoid, which we have given equal to H equals to N into I. So how will you describe the absolute permeability of a magnetic material? It is equal to the ratio of the magnetic induction inside the material, magnetic induction in the material, and magnetizing field intensity. Absolute permeability of magnetic material is defined as the ratio of magnetic induction inside the magnetic material to the magnetizing field intensity. It is clear? So you can see absolute permeability of material of core defined as the ratio of magnetic induction of solenoid filled with core to the magnetizing field intensity. Now one more thing you can notice from here, you can see you will get one new formula of mu r equals to mu upon mu naught. What is mu? It is the absolute permeability of magnetic material. Absolute permeability of magnetic material. Mu naught is absolute permeability of air. Magnetic permeability of air. Magnetic permeability of magnetic material. It is magnetic permeability of magnetic material. It is magnetic permeability of air. So you can describe mu r in one more way. It's clear. Besides this, it can also be defined like this also. Mu r relative permeability of a magnetic material is defined as ratio of magnetic induction. Relative permeability of magnetic material is defined as ratio of its absolute permeability with the magnetic permeability of air. Ratio of its absolute permeability with the magnetic permeability of air. It's clear. Now you can see there is one more term that is called the susceptibility. That also I have told you. What is susceptibility? It's clear. So we will know that term afterwards. You see first this. What is the relation between magnetic induction of solenoid filled with the material and magnetizing field intensity? It's clear. Means, what is its meaning? So you can see here, taking one page, wait here for a minute. Here you have to find relation between magnetic induction of solenoid filled with material and magnetizing field intensity. Now see here, this is a solenoid and here you have filled it with some material. With some magnetic material it has been filled. And there are the windings of the insulated copper wire. Here you can see. Some current passes through this. It's clear. Suppose once you have passed the current 1 ampere. Here current is 1 ampere, the value of H will be equal to N into I. It's clear. And then what is the magnetic inside in the magnetic material? That you have measured by some device. By how will you measure? That is not in your course. So you have measured it by some device. B equals to mu into H. So what will you find? When 1 ampere current is passing, 2 ampere current is passing, 3 ampere current is passing, 4 ampere current is passing. In every case, magnetizing field will be changed. Suppose N is having some typical value 1000 per meter. 1000 per meter. 1000 terms per meter. So what will be in 1 ampere? It will be 1000. It's clear. It will be 2000. It will be 3000. And it will be 4000. What is its unit? Ampere per meter. Already I have told. In every case, you record the value of B. So it is B1, suppose B2, B3, B4. You will find that as you increasing the current, as you increasing the magnetizing field, the value of magnetic induction inside the magnetic material increases. Value of magnetic induction inside the magnetic material increases in paramagnetic material. This is for paramagnetic material. It is clear. In paramagnetic material, its value will become more than that value which was in the air at this current, which was in air at this value of current, at this value of magnetizing field. It's clear. But what will you find in the diamagnetic material? So you will find that as you increase the current, as you increase the magnetizing field, it's clear. What happens to this magnetic induction inside the solenoid? It decreases more and more. It decreases more and more. It's clear. And why it is decreasing more and more? Because diamagnetic materials are magnetizing opposite to the magnetizing field. In paramagnetic material, it increases. Why? Because they magnetizes feebly in the direction of the magnetizing field. Stronger the magnetizing field, more will be the induced magnetic field in the direction of external magnetic field. It's clear. So see here, it has been found that in paramagnetic material or in diamagnetic material, there is a linear relationship, there is a direct proportionality between B and H. B and H are directly proportional. As you increase H, either B increases linearly or B decreases linearly. But in ferromagnetic material, it is non-linear. Means the curve of B versus H will not be a straight line. It will be a curve. Now see here. Here a graph has been drawn in B versus H. You can see here B versus H graph has been drawn. So when there is air inside the solenoid, no material is filled. You draw the graph. So when you will increase H, and how will you increase H? By changing Ni. And what is the better way of changing Ni? You change only the I. What will happen? H will be changed. So see here current is changed. So on changing the current, the value of H will be increased and the value of B also increases in air-filled solenoid. Now you fill that solenoid with paramagnetic material. Here it is filled with paramagnetic material. When you will fill it with the paramagnetic material, what will happen? As you increase the value of current, as you increase the value of H, what will happen? Magnetic induction inside the solenoid will become more than that value which was in air at this value of current. At this value of current, at that value of current. It is clear. It will become more than that value which was present in air at that value of current. Means, but the graph will be linear. Means it will be this. Now see here. For this value of H, you compare the magnetic induction inside the solenoid when there is air and when there is magnetic material, paramagnetic material. It is clear. So see here, in air it is this much. In air we represent B naught equals to mu naught into H. So that's why it is written mu naught H. While in the paramagnetic material, what happens? At the same magnetizing field in the paramagnetic material, it becomes more. It's clear. Here it becomes this. Magnetic induction becomes this. As we know that in the paramagnetic material, B is represented by mu into H. B equals to mu into H. So that's IO represented by mu H. So see here, this is the magnetic induction inside the solenoid when there is air, and this is the, you can see here, if you name this as A and this as B and this as O. So OA is the magnetic induction in the air. OB is the magnetic induction when the there is magnetic material. So how much is the increased magnetic induction? So increased magnetic induction, increased flux density is this much. Increased flux density is equal to from here to here. Mu naught m, you can say that this is the extra flux density. Extra flux density by which magnetic induction increases. Increases in paramagnetic material, by which magnetic induction increases in the paramagnetic material. It is clear? This much is the increase. It is clear? Now see here, if you plot the same graph for diamagnetic, so what will you find? You will find that in diamagnetic material, magnetic induction becomes less than that value which was in the air at that value of current, which was in air at that value of current. And how much it has decreased? So you see here, at this value of magnetizing field, what is the magnetic induction in the air? You can see it is mu naught h. In the diamagnetic material, it has become this. It has become this. Means now mu h has decreased, becomes less than mu naught h. It's clear? It has decreased. So how much it has decreased? So you can see here how much is the decrease is here. So decrease is this much. This much is the decrease. Mu naught m is the decrease. It's clear? You will find that if you take some other value of h, suppose you have taken this value of h, and this value of h means current you have increased. So what will happen? You will find that the amount of decrease or increase, that will also change. Amount of decrease or increase will also change. You can see here I am showing what will be the effect on this increase or decrease on increasing the magnetizing field. So you can see here, in the air it is this much. At this value of magnetizing field, what is the magnetic induction inside in the air? It is this much, mu naught h. It's clear? But in the paramagnetic material, what will happen? When you will fill it by some paramagnetic material, it has become now this, means this value. It has become this value. I am not drawing the line. Means how much is the increase? From here to here. Means it has increased more than earlier. It's clear? If you increase h. Similarly, what is the decrease here if you see? So if you see the decrease, you will find here what will happen to decrease at this value of h. You can see this is when magnetizing field is h. So in air it is how much? In air it is this much. In air it is this much. One see here, you can see here, when you have increased the value of h, so in air it has become this much. In air it has become this much. Earlier I told this, so that is not correct. It is meeting to the graph of air at this point. So what will be the value of magnetic induction in the air at this value of magnetizing field? It is this. In paramagnetic, graph meets here, it becomes this. So how much is the increase? So increase is this much. So increase is not that one which I have told earlier. It is this much only. This is the increase in paramagnetic. This amount you can see that it is more than this. It's clear. You can see here. It is more than this value. Now if you see in the diamagnetic, earlier what was the decrease? This much. Now at the greater value of magnetizing field, in the air magnetic induction is this, in the magnetic material magnetic induction is this. So how much is the decrease? So you can see here decrease is this. Earlier decrease was this, now decrease is more. Means as you keep on increasing the magnetizing field, the induced magnetism acquired by the magnetic material, induced magnetism acquired by the magnetic material will increase. It's clear. This is the magnetizing field. This is the direction of magnetizing field. It's clear. In the paramagnetic material, induced magnetism will increase, will be in this direction, will be in the same direction in paramagnetic. It's clear. So if you increase H, if you increase the value of H, this magnetic field will also increase, and when this will increase, so net magnetic field will become more than. Similarly, in the diamagnetic, what happens? It magnetizes feebly opposite, means now in this direction. If you increase this, this will increase, and when this will increase, so what will happen? It will decrease more and more. On increasing H, this induced magnetism increases in magnitude, and therefore net magnetism decreases more and more. It's clear. So here you can see that what is mu naught M? It is the extra magnetic flux density by which magnetic induction increases in paramagnetic material, or decreases by which it decreases in diamagnetic material, by which it decreases in the diamagnetic material. It's clear. So see here, we can write for paramagnetic material. You can see here, if you see the direction of M and H, vector M and vector H will be in same direction, But if you see for dia, what will be vector M and vector H are in opposite direction. It's clear. This you have seen that when you will increase the value of H, when you will increase this value of H, what will be the effect on this increase or this decrease? That also increases. That is mu naught M increases or decreases on increasing or decreasing the value of H. Since the mu naught is a constant quantity, therefore what will happen? M will increase or M will decrease on increasing or decreasing the value of H. When you will increase H, value of M will increase. It's clear? Value of M will increase. In paramagnetic material, M and H will have same direction. In diamagnetic material, M and H will have opposite direction. It's clear? So you can see here, for a paramagnetic material, B is greater than B naught. Now B is greater than mu naught H. So B can be written as mu naught H plus mu naught M. Now what is mu naught M? This is the extra magnetic induction. M is called magnetization. Here M we call as magnetization. Now if you see this equation, so from the point of view of dimension, you know that this term will have same dimension as this. Both the terms will have same dimension because only same dimension terms can be added or subtracted. Therefore, mu naught M will have the same dimension as mu naught H. Therefore, M and H will have same dimension or they will have same unit. So, what is the SI unit of M? It is ampere per meter, because in what is the SI unit of H? Ampere per meter. Now this we can rewrite as ampere meter square upon meter cube. When it will be cancelled, what will you get? Ampere per meter. Now ampere meter square is the unit of what? It is the unit of magnetic moment, and meter cube is the unit of volume. So we can define this M, which we call as the magnetization. This M we call as the magnetization. This M is defined as the magnetization. M is defined as the induced magnetic moment per unit volume because of the magnetizing field. Induced magnetic moment per unit volume in the magnetic material because of the magnetizing field. It is clear? So this is called the magnetization. What is magnetization? It is defined as the induced magnetic moment per unit volume of the material due to the magnetizing field H. For paramagnetic material, that direction, about direction already I have told. So this is the relation B equals to mu naught H plus mu naught M. Mu naught M is the extra magnetic induction produced due to the magnetizing field. What is M? M is called the magnetization, which is defined as induced magnetic moment per unit volume of the material. What will be its direction? Same as H for para and ferro, but opposite to direction of H in diamagnetic material. It's clear? Now see here. From here you can see magnetic susceptibility. What is magnetic susceptibility? So as you know that for most of the material, the magnetization is directly proportional to the magnetizing field. Most of the material means in paramagnetic and ferromagnetic. In the paramagnetic and diamagnetic. In paramagnetic or diamagnetic, M is proportional to H, already I have told. So M equals to chi into H. Here chi is a dimensionless quantity. It is a dimensionless quantity. Less quantity. It is clear? And it is called the magnetic susceptibility of magnetic material. Magnetic susceptibility of magnetic material. So chi you can write as the M upon H. Means, how will you describe it numerically? So magnetic susceptibility of the magnetic material is defined as ratio of magnetization acquired by material to magnetizing field intensity. It's clear? Magnetizing field intensity H, magnetization M. M and H have same unit. It's clear? Now we will reduce a relation between chi and mu r. We already know that mu r equals to, chi equals to mu r minus 1. It's clear? Diamagnetic material are having the value of mu r less than 1, therefore for diamagnetic it is negative for diamagnetic. For paramagnetic it is positive. Paramagnetic. And for ferromagnetic it is much more positive. So in the previous lecture I have told. Now today we will deduce this relationship. In the previous lecture directly I have told this relationship. Now today we will deduce. It's clear? So you can see here B equals to mu naught H plus mu naught M. Now as we know that M equals to what? Chi into H. So in place of M here you write chi into H. So mu naught H plus mu naught chi into H. Now mu naught H you take out common. So 1 plus chi. Now see here. What is B? It is the magnetic induction when it is filled with magnetic material. It is given by mu into H. Therefore mu into H equals to mu naught H 1 plus chi. This H and H cancel. So mu upon mu naught you bring in this side. So mu upon mu naught equals to 1 plus chi. What is mu upon mu naught? It is mu r. So mu r equals to 1 plus chi, or chi equals to mu r minus 1. Chi equals to mu r minus 1. It's clear? Now in the next topic we will see that what is the effect of the temperature on the magnetic susceptibility. Effect of temperature over the magnetic susceptibility. It's clear? So for diamagnetic material there will be no effect on the magnetic susceptibility on increasing the temperature. On increasing the temperature of the material there will be no effect on the magnetic susceptibility. Means in other way you can say that magnetic susceptibility chi, it remains unchanged. It remains constant with rise in Kelvin temperature of the substance, which we denote by capital T. But since it is negative and it has a small negative value, so when you will draw the graph of chi versus 1 T, chi versus T, if you draw the graph, then it will come in the negative part, in the negative y-axis, below the x-axis. It's clear? Below the x-axis. But if you see in the paramagnetic material, then in paramagnetic material this susceptibility depends upon the temperature. Susceptibility depends upon the temperature. Though it is small and positive, but it depends upon the temperature. If you increase temperature, what will happen? Susceptibility will decrease. It has been found experimentally that susceptibility of paramagnetic substances varies inversely as Kelvin temperature. Kelvin temperature means absolute temperature, that is temperature in Kelvin scale of the substance. So chi is inversely proportional to T, and this law is known as Curie law. This law is very important. All of you remember this thing, that chi is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature of the substance. When you will draw the graph, then it will be a rectangular hyperbola, that you know. Chi versus T graph will be a rectangular hyperbola. It's clear? Now what will be in ferromagnetic substance? As you know that ferromagnetic substances are having a very high value of mu r, are having a very high value of chi, because chi equals to mu r minus 1. So if mu r is very high, then chi will also be very high. For example, iron, it will be what? It will be 4999. For cobalt it will be 249. For nickel it will be 599. These are the values of the chi. So here in ferromagnetic materials also it varies with temperature, but this change with temperature is in a very complex way. We can divide this change into temperature. There is one specific temperature, Curie temperature. What is Curie temperature? It is that temperature, it has been found that when temperature of a ferromagnetic substance is increased, when the temperature of the ferromagnetic substance is increased, then it loses its ferromagnetism. It loses its ferromagnetism. Means on increasing the temperature, ferromagnetism is decreasing. It is decreasing. And why it is decreasing? So that I am not going into that detail, because domain theory is not in your course. So that's why I am not going at that. What will happen? Atomic dipoles will be disoriented. They will start disorienting. In the ferromagnetic material, all the atomic dipoles are arranged in a definite direction. They form the domains. It's clear. When you will increase the temperature, these atomic dipoles will start disorienting. It's clear. And when they will start disorienting, so they will nullify the magnetic moment, some amount of magnetic moment of each other. And when they will nullify its magnetic moment, it will decrease. Ferromagnetism will decrease. So there is a certain temperature above which the ferromagnetic substance becomes paramagnetic. That temperature is called the Curie temperature. What is Curie temperature? It is that temperature above which the ferromagnetic substance becomes paramagnetic. It's clear. For iron, its temperature is 770 degrees Celsius. Means below 770 degrees Celsius, it is ferromagnetic. Above 770 degrees Celsius, it is paramagnetic. For nickel, it is 358 degrees Celsius. So see here, it changes with temperature in a very complex way according to this equation. This is known as Curie-Weiss law. Curie-Weiss law. But when the Curie law is asked, what will you write? You will write this. When the Curie law is asked, you will write this one. The susceptibility of paramagnetic substance varies inversely as Kelvin temperature of substance. Most of the time, students are confused whether to write this or that. So when Curie law will be asked, you will write this only. It is clear. Here Curie-Weiss law is applicable, where C is constant, T is Kelvin temperature of substance, and what is Tc? It is the Curie temperature. It is the Curie temperature. Now, this already I have told, ferromagnetic decreases with rise in temperature. It is considered a strong paramagnetic. Ferromagnetic which is considered as the strong paramagnetic. When a ferromagnetic substance will be heated, what will happen? When its temperature will be increased, its ferromagnetism will decrease, and at a certain temperature, it will disappear. It's clear? Now, after this, there is one more point, that is the hysteresis, retentivity and coercivity, that is related to the ferromagnetic material. So, that we will do in the other lecture. So, if you have not watched my previous video, you must watch the previous video on this magnetic classification of substances, then you will be able to understand these things. Thank you.